Okay, my friends, here it is. The Monday morning live stream at the Thrive Like a Viking headquarters on this foggy, cloudy, beautiful day. Almost feels like a spring day. It's like 55 degrees and rainy. This is just insane. The past handful of years of winters here in northern Indiana have been like not real winters. Have been like not real winters, guys. When are we gonna bring back the real winters? Because I love some snow. Yeah, I love some snow. So, guys, we're gonna talk about a good thing today. We're gonna use the solstice that's coming up as a topic of discussion. We're also gonna use the winter as a topic of discussion, and why you might be feeling certain things that I'm sure many of you are feeling, and how I know this. So we're going to talk about all that after we do a little 10-minute meditation. I want to see who's here. Creative Soil. Hello, my friend. Says, when we are aware, we walk in the garden with the Creator. When we are unaware, we live in hell with the devil. Stop identifying with your thoughts. They are not you. Yes, very well said. Stop identifying with the thoughts. Identification is everything. It's what we're talking about. I identify. What do you self-identify as? Yes? Most people don't even understand that they identify as anything. They identify as a person, but then when they become spiritual, they identify as an awakening person. Well, then I'm now very spiritual, you see, which is still identification. The ego comes in through the back door. You can identify as a very unawake person or a person with lots of, self-esteem issues. You can identify as anything. And when you latch on to that identity, then you begin to create that and confirm that in your reality. So it's all about, where does your identity rest? Yes? Which that's a huge topic. We'll go into that. Well, we go into that all the time, actually. So Spawn Viking, good to see you, my friend. Jerry Bates says, oh my gosh, there are a big dose of potentially hellish things going on here. I have my sauna set up and time to get to it. Nice. Yes. So you sauna in the morning? Whoa. Because that would be intense. I sauna in the evening only because I just couldn't imagine. Well, it just is so deeply relaxing. You sleep like a log. It's just wonderful. So, but that's awesome. I mean, you do whatever you got to do. So, guys, how's the sound sounding? Huh? How's the sound sounding? Okay, so Jerry Bates, yes, Brian Eri, good to see you, my friend. Okay, let's see. Cloudy day. I think you're hearing it. But again, I don't know. Carol Fago, hello, my friend. Good morning, she says, from Canada. Yes. Jerry Bates says, I'm doing an art show in March. I think you will be interested in talking to Creative Soil. Yes, definitely a very cool piece that I got to see a little bit of. Aaron Johnson says, good morning. Yes, Kentucky is confused too. Oh, yeah. That's not that far away, really, from here. So Graham from Ireland says, hi, Nate and friends. My internet is messing around. I might drop out any minute. Ooh, well, stick around as long as you can. Huh? B. Hendricks says, I've never watched a video on this channel. Nate Murray. Really? What do you mean? Because I've seen you here all the time. Oh, you mean the new channel or the new name, which is actually the old name before I changed it to Thrive. Yeah, it's for the branding thing. I need to have one channel that is just my name. And so, yeah, we're going to keep it like that. Yeah, it's still the Thrive Tribe. Don't worry. We still thrive. That's what we do here. Good morning, Val says, and Brian says, we've been warmer than usual. Andre Puskas says, agree with you, Nate. Here also, no real winter for many years now. Yes. And you are in Serbia, is that correct? Is that not insane that we're talking like this all over the world? Okay. Oh, Jerry's talking about tonight. Yes. Okay, good. So, okay, cloudy day. Okay, good. Glad that you guys got it. Okay, Aaron Johnson said, watch my first Wim Hof breathing video. Wow. Okay, hopefully you're talking about you're doing the course. Everyone here, I highly recommend that you go to wimhof.com and you sign up for the fundamentals course. Okay, it's a 10-week course. It's worth every dime. It's maybe it's $150, maybe it's $300, I forget, but I mean, there's no way you could ever put a price on that. So I took it when I took the old, well, I've taken all of his stuff, over the years. But I first took the old one in like 2017, 18 maybe, 2017. And it just was the beginning of the end of my old life and the beginning of the new life. It was just unbelievable. It came at exactly the right time. And I've been doing it virtually every day since then. It's been amazing, and it's brought so many things into my life. It's just amazing. So, okay, Lucia Bora says, hello, Nate and the tribe. Lots of love from the Netherlands. Cannot stay to the end. Oh, okay. Well, thanks for dropping by. Andre says, yes, Serbia. You remember right. Yes, of course, my friend. Pam from South Africa and Ms. T from Texas. Yes. Okay, so we're going to hit the meditation here real soon. Because then we want to talk about some really good things here in a moment. Val says, hey, Nate, my 19-year-old nephew is intelligent, athletic, handsome man. Recently had ear palpitations. Doc said it's okay to athletes, but he thinks he's going to die. Oh, heart palpitations, probably. Yes, okay, heart palpitations. Yes. So, lots of questions there. Lots of questions there first. Yeah, we'll talk about that here in a little bit. He's probably not going to die though, but that thought cycle is definitely going to make things much worse. As it gets worse, oh no, and then the recurring reinforcing thoughts, and oh no, I'm gonna die. And then all of a sudden, the mind fires off the chemicals and the hormones, and the whole process starts. And that's really not good for the body. And a lot of times, that is actually, in my experience through life, many people, I don't know if I can say most illnesses are created or sustained that way, through the mind, through the mental confirmation that I have this thing, whatever it is. The law of it's a law. It's like the law of physics. The law of confirmation is always at work. That the external experience will confirm the internal experience, because they're actually one and the same. So we'll get into that, yeah? Now, let us drop into the meditative state of mind. I want to talk a bit more about that, though, of course, Val. Thank you for the input. So let us drop into the meditative state of mind, okay? Wherever you're at, whatever you're doing, this is it. Put it on the shelf, straighten the spine. Let us take 3 deep conscious breaths, breathing fully in. Hold. And let it go. Again, fill the lungs. Hold. Let it go. Last one. Breathe deeply as you can. Hold. Hold. And let it go. Now, immediately, if you've been practicing for some time, you already know what to do. The body has become relaxed. You're allowing the body to breathe however it wants to breathe. After the 3 deep conscious breaths, if you've been practicing for some time, then now your mind has become focused and still and silent right away. Just rest there in that silence, in that stillness. Notice what is going on around you and within you. You're sitting on a chair. your breathing. You feel the clothes on your chest as your chest expands and contracts. Witness this. Maybe there are sounds in your environment, things you used to label distractions, such as a dog barking or a television playing or cars passing by. None of that is actually a distraction in any way whatsoever. It is perfectly neutral, as all things are. It is the mental story that you form around it that makes it distracting in your own mind. There is nothing inherently distracting about a dog barking or my voice or the sound of a car passing by. It just is. So if you are making a mental story around it, just observe the story making. See the workings of the ego mind. And then let it go. And come back to the breathing. If you find that your mind is noisy or fractured, bouncing around to different images or thoughts or things you have to do later today, it's all right. Don't become frustrated with yourself. That's just another layer of the ego mind. When you notice that you've become engrossed in thoughts in the storyline again, don't create another story that says, oh, no, I shouldn't be doing this. My mind has still got power over me. I thought I was getting somewhere in my meditations. Oh, great. Now I have to start all over. No, no, no. Those are all just tricks of the ego mind. The way that you drop the storyline is to drop it entirely. You put a loving hand on yourself and be patient with yourself. It's all right. If you need to refocus at any point during the meditation, you can take a single deep conscious breath and let it go. And you'll be right back to the state of peace, to the state of equilibrium, equanimity. The more you practice, the more you will discover this state of equanimity. It is beyond happiness or unhappiness. It is neither, yet it is both. Equanimity. Perfectly equanimous. When thoughts come into the mind, if you've been practicing for some time, you'll be able to catch them right away until a time comes when you will see every thought as it arises in the space of the now. You can see it as it springs forward. You can observe it, and you also watch it pass. Then you see the next one. When you're in meditation, you will soon be able to observe no thought, a state free of thought. The movie is paused, the inner dialogue silenced, not through repression, but through total surrender. You will never be able to suppress the inner dialogue. You will never be able to suppress the inner storyline. But you absolutely will be able to surrender. And it will flow through you, as all things do. And give no resistance, and you will experience the ultimate peace. Together, let us take 3 deep conscious breaths, breathing fully in. Hold. Let it go. Again, fully in. Hold. Let it go. Last one. Fill the lungs as deeply as you can. Hold. Hold. And let it go. Many of you will notice that even though the meditation is over, you will come to find as you practice, only if you practice, you will come to find that there actually is no difference between this state of meditation and any other state. There's only one state, and that's the now. You never leave it. You never came to it. You will never leave it. It is always here. It is everything. It is the one. You can feel it. As it flows through you, you are it. There's nothing outside of it. For practical terms, we say the inner world as opposed to the outer world. When you come back to the outer world, we talk about it like it's different. And at first, and to most people, it's of course very different. But what's actually happened? All you've done is closed your eyes. Or have you gone anywhere? Has anything changed? Absolutely nothing. It's a thought. The separation of inner world versus outer world is just a thought. And as your grip on thoughts starts to loosen, things can get shaky. Things can get shaky because your whole life, you thought that a reality was arranged in this certain way. But the more that you go deep within and examine and experience, that will sort of start to evaporate. And it can feel like, whoa. I call this spiritual vertigo. You don't know, okay, what's up or down? Whoa, I'm feeling dizzy. This is perfectly normal at first. Perfectly normal. Just embrace it. Just embrace it. You don't need to come up with any definitive thought as far as, well, is there an outer world versus an inner world? Just let go of it all. Just let go of all the concepts that are creating contraction in your mind. It's a process of letting go. Yes, thanks for stopping by, Sam. Have a good day at work. So, okay. I want to talk about a few things, but I want to address Val's question a little bit more. Okay, your 19-year-old nephew, intelligent, athletic, handsome, wonderful. Recently had heart palpitations. The doctor said it's okay. It happens to athletes, but he thinks he's going to die. So, as Pam is saying here, fear. Yes, the fear is what is going to make that infinitely worse. Okay. And then there's the fear of the fear. So if you say it like that, if you're like, well, you can't be afraid of it because if you do, then it's going to increase that. So now he's got the fear of the fear. Oh no, that's how the ego mind works. So what we need to do, though, is to remind the young man that he has the ultimate control within him, actually. He's 19. He's very, very young. And he has a lot to experience in life. He has to test out this machine this tool that he's been gifted for this incarnation, the mind. Yeah. He has to experiment with it. He has to feel it. He has to test its limits. Like a toddler will go about testing its environment, and it will take something and put it in its mouth. And so we're essentially toddlers in that regard. It takes a whole lifetime to even begin to understand this machine, this thing, this experience, this life. And so one thing that you don't know, most people don't know in the beginning, and at 19, it's the beginning, is that you are actually in the driver's seat of this experience way more than almost anyone understands. Okay? So the power of the mind is absolute. We'll say that. This is a mental projection, the entire experience. Okay? So by learning to take control of the mind, he will learn to take control of the body. Yes, this is true. Again, it's similar medicines for everything. So I highly recommend, at 19, athletic, he's perfectly able to do the Wim Hof. Get him on the Wim Hof. For Christmas, give him the Wim Hof Fundamentals course. Okay? If he's serious about life or about learning, or if he's athletic, or if he really wants to solve this, then he will do it. Okay? And he will learn from the Wim Hof how to go within. The Wim Hof is like a meditation, very much so. I have, since doing it all these years now, branched into my own thing, but have him start with the Wim Hof, of course. And that will teach him how to go deep within, how to feel the heartbeat. And if he's into it, cold training. Cold training teaches you cold training teaches you how to go within and calm the heart rate, literally. Okay? And there's two very powerful ways that human beings learn: through repetition, or through quantity, okay, we'll say, or through intensity. Okay? Quantity being repetition, over and 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 over years, then you can begin to do that. You can begin to have control. Or intensity. The ice bath is super intense. And so the intensity is really high. And so you get that focus when you're there, and you bypass all those years of necessary repetition because the intensity is so high. Yeah. Intensity versus quantity. Like, for example, how difficult is it to memorize, a series of 7 numbers that are just randomly don't have any meaning to you, or okay, but when you there's like the phone number of someone that you find like really attractive and you're all about it, you can easily remember that. Yeah, because the intensity is so much greater. So that was just the first example that came to mind. But that is what I would recommend. Okay. And so no need to tell him about the fear thing yet, really. But Lisa T says, Val, my son had this. He says any meditation practice helped him. Will he listen to Thrive? His was anxiety and buried abuse/trauma, excruciating. So much pressure on young men. Absolutely. Lisa T says, one bit is he was openly shamed by teachers and students for being an athlete. What a mess. Doing much better now, but he had so much to uncover, feel, and move on from. Best to your nephew. Yes, definitely. Definitely, yes. Have him get ahead of it, okay? Have him use it as a tool, all right? Highly suggest the Wim Hof. Highly suggest cold training. And until the time comes when I make my own courses about that kind of thing and I do my own videos about that, it's best to just direct them to that kind of thing. Yeah. So I hope that helped, that question. That's my thoughts on that. So guys, I've talked with a lot of you guys on here, and then also emails, also one-on-one, like master cleanse consultations and stuff. And when people come to the master cleanse, it's really it's the physical detoxification, yes, but more so when they come to it for the first time, it's an energetic detoxification. It really is. That's what leads them to it. And so when I talk to them, do a consultation, I sense right away it's an energetic constipation. You understand what that really means? The energy's like not flowing. Yeah. And so I've talked with a lot of you guys, and here's the thing about the winter, okay, and what a lot of people feel, and we call it seasonal depression and stuff like that, because in America there is this sort of belief that you should be on all the time. You should be up all the time. You should be grind culture, rise and grind. You got to get to it. You got to have 5 different side hustles. Then you got to be grinding constantly. I wake up at 4:30 in the morning. Then I do, blah, blah, blah. How all the people are just grind, 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 work, 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 more, acquire, do. That's a huge push in American culture. And so to even consider that there's a cycle to any of that, that there's like a downtime to any of that, is like, whoa, 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 no, no, no. Okay, here's what you need to do. You need to take medications. If you're depressed or if you're feeling like, different during the wintertime, you need to take antidepressants, or you need to take your Adderall and stuff so you can be up all the time. That's the American way. That's what's become the American way, unfortunately. Yes, the pharmaceutical, the corporate America way. Okay, but we have lost the understanding of the ancient wisdom that is cycles. That nature has cycles, and we see that when we look to nature, that things are not always on. Okay, they have cycles. Especially if you live in somewhere of the north with deciduous trees, like here, for example. The wintertime, the fall, everything falls to the ground, and the winters are harsh enough that the winters are harsh enough where it kills everything. I mean, besides, most things either die or will go dormant. Okay, so the winter time is nature's natural cleaning of house. Okay, when we look to nature, we see that the natural cycle is that the old, the very old, and the very weak, and the very sick, they go back to the earth during harsh winter time. Yes? It's nature's way of culling things. It's nature's way of cleaning and invigorating the strength of itself for the upcoming push for life once again. When the spring comes and the sun is back and the birds are having babies and the little baby rabbits and the flowers are coming up and the smells, whoa, and everything's waking up. Wow. And it has a huge push. Life is here again all summer long. Wow, the sun, and you're out there and it's all hot and everything. Oh, and the rain comes and you're growing food and you're out there, no shirt on, just out there enjoying life, feeling the sun. Wow. Yes. Amazing. But it doesn't last forever. It's not meant to. It can't. So the cycle then comes where, okay, now all of that has had its time and now the fall time comes. Okay. So the annual plants and things that aren't really supposed to be here will just die. They will just die and return to the earth. The trees will lose their leaves, they'll fall to the ground and immediately begin decomposition. So to the untrained eye, it looks like everything's dead. It goes, oh no, looks like everything's dead. But what is actually happening? The moment that that stuff falls to the ground, life, the process of new life begins. Yeah? Because immediately the leaves begin decomposition and they begin to be converted into things that the plants will use to grow again. And the animals will eat the plants, other animals will eat those animals, everything. It all begins. That's where it begins, in the soil, of course. Of course, we're talking, it's a paradox because there is no beginning or end to this cycle. It just, the human mind can dissect it and say, well, when they fall to the ground, that's the beginning. But really, when does it actually begin? I mean, when they grow, when the plant mines the nutrients from the earth, I mean, it doesn't begin or end, of course. But so what happens is that we try to fight against these natural cycles in our modern society. We try to think that we should be on all the time, that we should be grinding, that we should be producing. We should feel the exact same now that we do in that bright, beautiful summertime when food is coming in and butterflies are all over the place. You're not meant to. You're not. That's not how it works. You would not expect a flower to bloom in the middle of winter. It knows never to do that. It doesn't, you would not try to force the flower to bloom in the middle of winter, would you? And so, likewise, many of us, because we are of the earth, literally, not like in a hippie kind of way, we're all one with the earth. No, I'm talking a literal, without the earth, there's no you. You are literally soil that has been rearranged, temporarily animated with the breath of life. You will return to soil again to become life again. There's no end to the cycle. There's no beginning or end to the cycle. Everything is perpetuating. Okay, we have to get that image in the mind of a never-ending cycle. Okay, and so, like Lisa T says, the trees don't hold on to their leaves; they let them go. We need to do this to gather energy for they need to do this to gather energy for the rest of the year. Yes, exactly. The trees aren't sitting there trying to hold on to every bit of leaves. They let it go. They let it go. So in our modern culture, what needs to happen? So this disconnection, okay, we are literally of the earth, as I was saying. And without the earth, there's no you. I mean, you are... it's a total fallacy fantasy to expect. It's science fiction fantasy to think that humans are just going to go out into space and we can do space missions and stuff in these long time. We can terraform Mars and all this stuff. Ha ha ha. We can't even care for the planet that we have. I mean, it's so totally absurd. The people don't understand, as a culture, don't understand. We are the earth. We are the earth. We're not a part of it. It's all the one. Okay. So the earth goes in cycles. We have to also go in cycles. We are of the earth. And so, what we see in modern society with increases in all illnesses, diabetes, obesity, heart disease, all of these things that you develop, lifestyle, microplastics into all kinds of stuff. I don't even have to begin to tell you, okay? I'm preaching to the choir, I know, with you guys. So, all of that is a reflection of a poisoned ecosystem. We've poisoned the earth, and so therefore we are poisoned because we are of the earth. So there's no escaping it in any way. It's a delusion to think that there is, that we can somehow separate ourselves from that natural process, from that cycle, or from those consequences. We can't. So, likewise, the earth goes in these cycles. The natural world goes in these cycles. Even if you're in tropical places that seem to constantly be growing, they still also have cycles as well. Okay, it's not as evident as places with harsh winters, but there are still cycles. And so we also are designed to go in cycles. So when the days get shorter and when the trees start to change, the energy of the earth, the actual sort of frequency, you can feel this, changes. And so you're like, oh man, I just don't feel like doing anything. I don't know why I need to drink an energy drink to get back up. No, it's perfectly natural to shed your leaves during the wintertime. It's perfectly natural to feel like just not that motivated during the wintertime. It's not, you don't have to immediately label it, well, I've got seasonal affective disorder or whatever. I need medicine. There are some cases, of course, chemical imbalances or whatnot. But for the most part, it's we can reconfigure our perspective on the natural cycles, and we can value the wintertime for what it is. So this is why when I get the land, I want to be in a place with real winters. That's why it will be somewhere probably along the southern Michigan, on the east side of Lake Michigan, somewhere with nice snowfall and where everything composts over the winter, essentially, where everything is boom. Okay, it wipes the slate clean. That season is finished, okay? And then we're preparing for the new season. And so during the wintertime, you're doing things that are nurturing that hibernative sort of experience, okay? So you're doing things that the trees around here, they look dead. They go, oh God, when all the trees look dead. When I came back from Humboldt County, where everything bursts with life in the winter, I was like, oh, the trees are just these dead-looking twigs all winter. That's because I was in a different place then, a different incarnation, really. And so now, when you look deeply, you can see they're not dead. Of course not. They're just hibernating. The energy has been pulled out of the leaves, stored in the earth where it's warm. It's been stored there, and it's just waiting. It's just gathering up chi. It's just gathering up the life force energy again. So in the springtime, boom, bam, leaves and the sap starts flowing and life is going. Birds are coming back to the trees, and it's strong. And it's strong wind doesn't even matter. The tree just embraces all of it. But it's because it has that time of down, of hibernation, of renewal, of decomposition of its leaves. Starts fresh, all of that. It's absolutely essential to a healthy, functioning organism to have that rest period. So you can notice this in your own life, and you can do things that will nourish and nurture that regenerative cycle. For example, in the wintertime, sauna. Guys, I know I preach it all the time, but until it just is what it is. You go into this. That's why mostly all ancient cultures, especially in cold areas, have a form of sauna. Yeah, in the Finnish people, all Scandinavian cultures have had them. They have records. They have archaeological digs going back 10,000 years in Scandinavia for saunas and Native American sweat lodges. So all of this kind of thing is because they recognized the transformative power of this practice, especially a good wood-fired one. You have the element of fire in your sauna, and you go in there and you allow it to purify. You allow it to warm you, and you allow the body processes to open up and to, whoa, wow, and you start detoxifying, you start renewing, you start dropping your leaves, basically. It's the similar thing. You start dropping your leaves. And then you can go into the ice. Wow. Feeling the coldness of winter, really getting it in there, making so that the body is strong and resilient. And you're doing these practices, things like that. You're doing breath work. You're eating, and your eating changes. Your eating style changes, just as nature does. So we're not trying to have a greenhouse that we have to heat and have all this heating into the greenhouse and all these resources so that I can grow my tomatoes and leafy greens over the winter. You can do that, of course, and I did for a season, and then I was like, this is not really where it's at. In the wintertime, we are meant to eat the crops, the storage crops. We're meant to eat foods like potatoes and sweet potatoes and winter squash. And if you choose, meat. Meat is a definite winter crop. And bone broth, things that we've put up, the storage crops, they're all good, fermented foods, lots of different fermented foods. That's what we eat during the wintertime. Some microgreens, yes, but we're not trying to go and create a whole new season with a greenhouse and say, okay, well, I'm going to start pumping 20, 50,000 BTUs of heat into that greenhouse so I can grow my peppers over the winter. No, that's working against the natural cycles. That's working against the natural cycles. So we recognize that the diet will change, the activities will change, the feeling of motivation changes. So it doesn't have to be a negative feeling. It can be a very positive feeling, a wonderful, when you understand its purpose, that there's a purpose for that. Okay? And so don't think that, well, I shouldn't be feeling this way. This is how nature does it. There has to be that area of renewal. So, Taida says, in history, the sauna was built before the house. Has everything you need for heat, cooking, sleeping, and they lived in it while building a larger place, or so I have read. I was not there. Yes. Yeah, Aaron Johnson says, Taida, you were there, you just don't remember. Yes, this is true, ultimately. Yes, Taida, this is right. There is archaeological evidence of this. There's historical evidence. Yes, the sauna is an amazing experience, guys. Yes. Lisa T says, your words remind me of the glory of winter camping and fishing in Michigan. Steelhead and salmon, sublime. Many thanks, Nate. Must run. Okay, good to see you. Thanks for stopping by, my friend. So Alvin K says, the winter is when we humans have less food, so we start to fatten up and then have periods of fasting. Yes, definitely. Definitely. All the natural cycles. And remember, guys, we are absolutely still those biologically speaking cavemen in many ways. However long ago you want to think it is, 10,000 years, 200,000 years, 6 million years, we don't really know. There's no way, and so but what we do know, though, is that the biological adaptation takes much longer than a few hundred years or even a couple thousand years. It takes much longer than that. So we are still, biologically speaking, those creatures from 20,000 years ago. Yeah. When in our mind, in popular science and things, popular culture, 10,000 years ago, people had elephant, woolly mammoth skins and went, rah, and they just talked with growling and they threw spears and stuff. And That's completely off in so many ways. I mean, India, for example, when I was there, opened my eyes to a level of history that was just totally unknown to me, just totally unthinkable to me. I mean, they claim they have records going back 20, 40, 50,000 years, like written records that just blows apart all different kinds of theories about human, activity and evolution. So the thing is that what we can know is what we are observing right now, and that is the cycles. We can observe the cycles in our own life, and we can learn to flow with the cycles instead of going against them. This is the main message here. This is the main thing. Because when you go against the cycles, you are bound to have issues. Yeah. If you somehow tried to force the tree to flower in the middle of winter, there's going to be serious issues. Yeah. So just always remember that we are of the earth. We are the earth. So what happens to the earth happens to us. And what the earth goes through also, it's a microcosm of a macrocosm. Yes, we see the cycles happening. These cycles also happen within us. Yeah. So that is basically what I wanted to say about that. Yes. Ms. T says, mentally, physically, and spiritually, Mama Earth takes care of her own, her children. Absolutely, guys. Here's one thing that a lot of people don't talk about in the modern understanding of what is happening to the earth. And we talk about killing the planet or saving the planet. And what a lot of people are failing to understand is that the planet is going to be just fine, actually. It's humans living on the planet that is the issue, that is going to be the serious issue in the years to come, because of what we've done to the life support system, how we've poisoned the system. And so because in a geological timescale, 100, I mean, even if we have total all-out nuclear war that just wipes out every human being on Earth, in a 250 million years, that will just be a total. I mean, the Earth will have all of its cycles back. I mean, think of how many years that is. Every trace of our civilization will be gone in that time. For the most part, you understand what I'm saying? That the Earth, we are of the Earth, and so it will recover in time. It's just humans won't be able to inhabit the planet because the way that we've structured our systems has poisoned mostly the recycling system. We have consumed the natural resources in an entropic way that is unrecoverable. Yeah, it's unrecoverable. We live on a finite planet. Okay, listen to this. We live on a finite planet, and the law of entropy is always at work. Okay, the second law of thermodynamics. That is, the first law is that energy cannot be created or destroyed in the universe. Only its form can change. The second law, though, that most people don't hear about, is that change only happens in one direction. It goes from concentrated to dispersed, from essentially ordered to disordered, from also, they can say, from hot to cold. Okay? So it's always at work. And so it's even with life forms where it appears like, no, we go against entropy. There is no such thing as going against the law of entropy. Even humans that appear to be growing and building and creating more order, it's always at the expense of a greater disorder in the surrounding environment. It has to be. This is the law. So if you think that in any way that there is a way to go against the law of entropy, then I urge you to do more research into that, and you will find out that's not the case. And so all things are moving from essentially, visualize this law of entropy. Okay, I have a hot beverage here. Now I set it into the room. Okay, now the heat is always going to disperse into the room. Yes, I'm never going to take a cold beverage, set it into the room, and all the heat from the room is going to go into the beverage and pull out of the room. That never happens that way. That's against the law of entropy. It always works so that it disperses, okay? Likewise, if I have an essential oil, okay, I take the bottle of essential oil. It's concentrated. We could say it's ordered. I open it up and it disperses into the atmosphere, yeah, until eventually the particles will be perfectly evenly spaced and it will be perfectly dispersed, and perfect equilibrium will be reached at a certain point. Never, ever do I go into a room, open a bottle, and the fragrance goes into the bottle and concentrates into the bottle. Do you understand? And so every time, every activity is affecting the rate. The only thing that can be manipulated is the rate of entropy. Some things can be very, very slow in its entropic decay. Some things, depending on the activity, can be really, really fast. And so what we're doing right now as a civilization is making that entropy happen faster at an astonishingly fast rate. We're digging up all the natural resources we can possibly find, consuming them, dispersing them. Okay? Think of all the precious metals, not just gold and silver, but think of just all the rare earth minerals that are concentrated, relatively concentrated in small areas. We dig them up, create little meaningless, pointless electronics with them, and disperse them out into the environment. There's no kind of purpose to it or anything, just profit. Just profit. That's it. Just because. And so those things are never coming back. We are entropically consuming every natural resource this earth has so that future generations will not have them at their disposal. We live on a finite planet. So we are going to be bumping up to these limitations of a finite planet. And that's exactly what's happening. That's what we are currently experiencing. These limitations of a finite planet. And so it's going to be very interesting the next months and years and decades. You know, to be alive right now is really amazing at the level of change that we're going to be seeing, because it has to happen this way. We've gone so totally against the natural law, the natural orders of things, that we're already at the point of no return. It's the way we've structured our civilization. So when I lived in Greece, okay, I remember learning a lot about the ancient Greeks, which are totally different than modern Greeks. But the ancient Greek society viewed the world in a system of ages. There's the golden age, the silver age, the bronze age, the iron age. Each one is a degradation. Okay, in the golden age, there was no want for anything. It was perfect abundance all the time. There was no warfare, there was no quarreling, because we communicated in a way that would seem telepathic to us now. We communicated energetically, and everything, there was food growing everywhere. So that was the golden age that lasted for long, long eons of time. And then each successive age, things became more scarce. Things became more hard to get, until currently we are in the Iron Age, I believe, if I remember right, which is the last age. And all of recorded history that we're taught in the schools and everything is all just within this age. Also, in Hindu thought, it's called the Kali Yuga, the final. Yes, we're in that age. And so the ancient Greek civilization was structured in such a way as to slow down the degradation from the golden age to the next age, because they understood the natural laws of entropy. And so a perfect society to the ancient Greeks is one that affected the environment as little as possible. A perfect society to the ancient Greeks is the one that maintained as low amount of entropy as possible, that changed as little as possible. That's the ideal society, because every successive activity is a degradation, which is the total polar opposite of our industrial revolution thinking, to where we are under the delusion that human beings are creating a world that is more ordered, that somehow we're going against the natural laws of entropy and we're creating a better thing. That's a new phenomenon in the last several hundred years. That's completely new. I could go on forever about that. It's just traveling when guys, if you're young or even if you're not, I just recommend extensive world travel. It opens your eyes to so many things that so that was my rant about that. So the ancient Greeks would look at our society now and just think, oh no, what are you doing? As fast as you can possibly do it, transform all these resources and everything into useless disperse. And it's just, if you travel to places like India, especially, or Southeast Asia, you will see the immediate consequences of this. We're still kind of sheltered from it in America because the landmass is so enormous. And it's just different here, but there's no hiding it in Asia. There's no hiding it. So yes, Alvin K says, I remember hearing something about apples and other fall fruits that are high in sugar that allows us to gain weight. Someone mentioned how the metabolism/gut changed with these fruits and changes in the seasons, and it allowed the body to use that for storage. Some wild symbiotic relationship with nature. Absolutely. Absolutely. This would be the case. And that's also why so many people want to, overdose on vitamins and stuff because they don't understand that the body has developed an amazing capability to gorge itself on certain things that are in season at that time and store those vitamins and minerals for a later necessary time. Yeah. But it's a push of the modern supplement industry to think that we need every single vitamin every single day, all the time. And you'll never be able to get enough. So just supplement with all these chemical, supplements. Now, that being said, our modern diet is horridly deficient in vitamins and minerals because the way the food is grown, of course. But okay, guys, next week we got a treat for you. Viking Girlfriend is going to be on the show and probably in person. And so we're going to, I have in mind that she will give her experience. You can ask her or whatever. She will give her experience about ice bath and sauna therapy and kettlebells all coming into her life in this past year or so. All right. So because she's relatively new to all of that stuff in the past year, basically, and she has a lot of good, it's transformed. It's really transformed her experience of life. And so I feel like she'll have a lot of good things to say. So I want you guys to ask her some questions and stuff. And I'll just let her, talk as much as she wants. She has a lot of good things to say. So, and yeah, I might have to leave the room for that, but we could do that. So yeah, it's been wonderful. It really has. And so again, it was the ice bath that brought us together. So super cool. All right. So we will see you guys next week. Oh man, Val, I know that was what she said. That was what Camille said. She was like, well, Mom, computer's going to be happy. I was like, yeah. So Andre says, looking forward to seeing her. Pam, yes, wonderful. Yes. Well, it's true, Jerry. Yeah, it's true. She has pretty much the world's foremost authority on all things sauna, ice bath, and kettlebell. So it's no wonder that she's thriving, right? Okay. All right, guys. So thank you for hanging out. It was a wonderful talk. I hope that you gained something from today's video, and let me know if you have topic ideas, questions. Otherwise, I just come up with the topic that I want to say like 10 minutes before the show starts. So, but next week will be Viking Girlfriend experience. Okay. Infinite Spirit goes before me and opens the way. Infinite wisdom tells me what to do and what to say. Infinite Spirit goes before me and opens the way. Infinite wisdom tells me what to do and what to say. Infinite Spirit goes before me and opens the way. Infinite wisdom tells me what to do and what to say. Alvin K., I will ask me this next time, okay? Or maybe next time. Because yes, I have a lot to say on that. If there is only dispersion, then how do we get to where we are? Yes, it is only an apparent happening that living organisms, it's only appears like they're going against the law of entropy, but they're not, because we are gathering what is called negative entropy, but only at the expense of overall greater decrease in entropy in the surrounding environment. Okay, it gets deep, of course. This is all in layman's terms, but we can go deep into that. We'll do an entropy specific podcast sometime, okay? Because we got, it's just so important. It will explain to you everything that you're seeing now in the craziness of the world. It all makes perfect sense when you understand the second law of thermodynamics, and of course, the way the ego mind works. Okay, we'll see you next week.